I don't have to be a musician. I don't have to be an artist. I don't have to have a label on myself. I can just be who I am. Oh my god. I can just be who I am. We can just be who we are. Do you know what I mean? Hi. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to start today's video with a few affirmations. Look at my orange hands because I dyed my hair last night at 2 a.m. I was like, you know what would be a great idea? Dyeing my hair. And it was. I know a lot of you guys watch my videos while you're drinking your morning coffee or getting ready for school, etc. So I just wanted to say a few affirmations to send you off for your day. Life is magical and exciting for me. Life is magical and exciting for me. I am irresistible and unforgettable. I am irresistible and unforgettable. I am always prioritized. I trust myself and my feelings. I trust myself and my feelings. Speaking of feelings, I was very much in my feelings earlier this week. Yeah, I thought that I would make this video to like touch base, talk about like some life struggles I've had lately, as well as like some big changes coming up in my life because we're at the end of June. I literally just printed out the calendars for my next 6 months. I have this system where I print out the calendar for each month and I put it on my wall, and it really helps you visualize the whole year. So I'm going to show you guys. Have you ever seen anything more satisfying than the last 6 months with X's through it and then the next 6 months blank? What are we gonna do in July? August, September, October, November, December. I don't know. Anything we fucking want. Let's go to Bali. Let's go to Thailand. And the last 6 months are dead. They're over. We did a lot of stuff. We cried a lot. We had some fun. So the last you saw of me, I was in Italy. I went on this like random adventure to help a new friend make a short film. I was really glad I did that, but when I came home I was physically and emotionally, spiritually, everything exhausted because I just had my own work to do as well, and I sort of put that aside to go on this adventure, which I don't regret. But also, like, I came home that night, it was, by the time I got home it was like 11 p.m. and then I stayed up until 4 a.m. editing a video to put out. So yeah, that happened, and then I am doing an art show and we have to start hanging things up this Friday. And then I'm moving. I'm leaving Paris for July and probably some of August as well. And then on top of that, I had this deadline for myself for my book. And I just felt like every time I would get a proof back in the mail, like the hardcover, this is the hardcover. It's so fucking beautiful. I'm so happy for it to come out. But I wanted to make a hardcover and a soft cover because the soft cover could be smaller and also be more affordable. And I want like everyone to be able to have one of the journals because I really put a lot of work into it, and I just think it's really, yeah, like it could be really life-changing for you. It's a affirmation creativity journal, which yeah, I'll talk more about later in another video. But every time I would have to order a new proof, it took me like a day to reformat everything. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. I'm already fucking exhausted. And on top of this, feeling like this big internal conflict about how I am existing in the world as an artist, my feelings towards the art world, doing art shows. So I have 2 art shows coming up. One is a really big one in September. And there's just like this part of me that feels like after art school there's like this pressure to do shows and like just like keep going. But in reality, like I don't feel like I have a lot of time just to create. And so I was feeling frustrated about that basically this week. I was feeling so just like pulled thin. Even now, like as I'm talking, I feel like my head is a little bit in the clouds. And I was more angry towards myself. It's like I can't be spreading myself in between all these areas all the time. And also it's like the amount of hours seem just like countless. So what I decided to do is I canceled all plans this week. I had some pretty fun plans. Like I was gonna go to this fashion event, like a lot of fun things to do. But I decided that I really needed to return to myself, and I wrote myself this letter.
Okay, so before we get into the deep stuff of what I wrote myself and also just some more struggles and how I'm overcoming them, I wanted to take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, which is BetterHelp.
As you guys know, I love BetterHelp and I work with them often because I really believe in what they do. They're an online therapy resource. You can do it literally from anywhere in the world, which is perfect because summer's coming up. It's a big time where people are traveling and maybe you just need to talk to somebody, and you can log in, talk to somebody through video or on the phone, and you're talking to your therapist. So basically how it works is you answer a few short questions and they will match you with a licensed therapist who is perfect for you. It's a lot more affordable than traditional counseling, which is really great because traditional counseling can be quite expensive over time, and they also offer financial aid. All of the therapists on there are fully licensed and really good at what they do with a wide range of expertise, so you're sure to find somebody who you can really vibe with. And what's really great is they make it super easy to change therapists if ever you're not feeling it. So if you feel like you would like to talk to somebody, I would highly recommend it. And they're also offering 10% off your first month of therapy to everyone who's watching. So all you have to do is go to betterhelp.com/purple. That's betterhelp, HELP.com/purple. So thank you so much to BetterHelp, and let's get back into the video. I decided that I really needed to return to myself, and I wrote myself this letter, which is like, I'm sorry for pushing your boundaries and for not respecting your boundaries. I'm sorry for not thinking about how you feel, and a lot of times acting from a place of ego, like accepting to do like shows and things, when in reality what like my heart really wants is just to go to my studio and paint and like create time for myself to do that, basically. So yeah, yesterday was Fête de la Musique, and I was supposed to go out and celebrate that with friends. We're gonna go to like a Bout de Chaumont, which is like a park, and like a bunch of us were gonna go dancing, but I really felt like I just needed to stay home, and like my inner self felt so appreciative of that. And at the end of the day, I just wrote in my journal like, thank you so much for like making space for you, you know. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that because I feel like maybe like in the last 6 months I have prioritized success over my inner child. And I know like inner child, so it sounds so cringy, but in reality, when you are grown, you have to be kind to yourself and parent yourself as if you were the parent to like your inner child, basically. And that's how you stay happy. That's how you are able to treat others well. And I really feel like I wasn't doing that, and like limite j'étais un peu frustrée avec moi-même. I think in life we can think that we want one thing because it sounds good on paper, but then when we actually are living it out day to day, it might not be what we thought it was going to be, or maybe it's not bringing us the joy that we wanted, and that's why I think that we have to in life allow ourselves to change our minds. I think one of the big problems with society wanting us to have this very structured life of go to school, go to college, meet somebody, get married in this sort of order, is that there's very little margin for error and for change. We sort of have been taught that our life should be like the plot of a movie, a beginning, middle, and end, because it makes more sense to us. It makes more sense to have like a very linear life. But I think it's more exciting personally to live many different lives in one lifetime. And if you let go of the ego of having to have your life look like a storybook, then you can have so many more rich life experiences, and you can actually experience true happiness. Do you know what I mean? For example, my ideal when I finished art school was like, okay, I want to be doing all these shows, I want to be like a part of an art gallery, I want to be doing like art basel, I want to be doing this and that. But in reality, like, I actually love doing art in a way that's slower. I like taking my time making things. I think it's really hard when you're somebody that has a lot of different interests, because you know very well in your mind that if you just focused on one thing, that you could really excel in that one area. But at quel prix? At what price? Do you know what I mean? Because for me, what I've realized in the day-to-day, what makes me happy is having a slower lifestyle. Like, I like to wake up and have my coffee, and I like to like fucking everybody, like, but do you know what I mean? Like, I like to wake up, take my time. My ideal is to go to my studio, create without having to have this pressure. And I think that I used to put value in being like a fucking hustler. Like, I used to put value in being somebody. I think I equated a lot of my self-worth to my accomplishments as well. I was very aware that a lot of the art world didn't take me seriously because I did Instagram and YouTube, and so I think that sometimes I would sort of like bend my content, especially on Instagram, to like, if I wanted to post like a fun selfie, I like wouldn't do it because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be taken as seriously, which is probably true. But at the same time, like, who the fuck cares? Like, who cares? Like, is that how I want to be living my life? I think we all need to stop playing by the rules of an imaginary system. A system that's set up to make us just pawns. Like, I want to be a leader, and what do leaders do? What do all leaders have in common? They are the first to step outside of the box. They're the first to do things differently, and maybe a lot of people in the art world don't think it's cool that I do YouTube, but also, I don't think they're cool. What? Like, I don't think it's cool to not participate and want to do YouTube and do all this kind of stuff, do you know what I mean? And so I have been learning as well this year to really like let go of the fucking ego and allow yourself to be a beginner, allow yourself to make music. Like, there's also a part of myself, like, when I put out my music, I'm just gonna be like, this is something I did. I don't have to be a musician. I don't have to be an artist. I don't have to have a label on myself. I can just be who I am. Oh my god. I can just be who I am. We can just be who we are. Do you know what I mean? So I think, like, really taking time to reflect upon, like, the last 6 months of your life, like, how you felt, what drained you, what brought you up, what are the things you failed at, and are you okay at failing at them? Is failure even, like, real? That can really help you with staying on track with where you want to go in life, because I feel like if we don't take time to think about these things, we're just gonna, like, go with the wind. We're just gonna, like, go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Ow. I think another really big thing is, like, taking back your power. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't let other people tell you who you are. If somebody says to you something that you don't agree with about yourself, call them out on it. If somebody disrespects your boundaries, tell them right away. You know what I mean? Actually, I made a list for myself. I did. I take all energy and attention off others and return it to me now. I release all anxiety around YouTube or any other creative endeavor I'm doing now. I can count on myself to be my own best friend. I am secure in my worthiness. I am glowing with self-love. I take chances on myself. I will be my own role model. I will call people out on their bullshit immediately. I will make life fun for me. These are just like some lists for myself. I also wrote out the things that I'm excited for the next 6 months. I'm planning a group trip for my Patreon for us to go to Bali together, to go to like the islands and explore volcanoes and just like really drop in together and have like this really beautiful experience. I'm also excited just to do nothing. Like, I'm excited to have time for myself just to create, you know? So I think that there's a lot of value in doing mid-year reviews because the year's not over yet and there's still time to get like that breath of motivation, and it's also enough time has passed where you can see like change in yourself. I think that definitely one of the biggest lessons that I've learned so far this year is to not overextend yourself with projects. And you know, I'm so driven by wanting to do things and create success around myself and what I'm doing that sometimes I think that I have things a little bit off balance, and I don't want to have that anymore. I want to be kind to myself. Like, I am the best friend that I'm going to have my whole life. So that's a big lesson that I learned. Another one is invest in people the amount that they invest in you. This is a really great lesson around boundaries and exchanges of energy. Even like me and you right now, we're having an exchange of energy. So if you don't feel like you're getting value from my videos, you shouldn't watch them. Like, you should only really immerse yourself in content, people who you feel like are bringing you up and also are nurturing you. I have this tendency, because I do have like a big heart and I want to help people, to want to just give so much energetically, because I love seeing people succeed and my friends do well. But in reality, like, I have to forget, like, who is your number one best friend, Shayna? It's you. Oh my god, so don't forget that. If, like, even this week was a great example. I was tired, but I just stayed home, bitch. I was like, I'm staying home. I'm staying home. When I think about what I want, like, the next 6 months to look like, that I really need to sit down and sort of think about in the daily what I want my life to look like. Do I want to be sitting at a computer editing all day? Do I want to, you know, like, it's great to have a lot of projects that are fruitful, but like, what makes up a life is the day-to-day. And what I would really love is to create more space for myself to experiment and explore and create, to be able to wake up, go to my art studio and paint for 4 hours with my phone shut off. Like, that sounds good to me. I was thinking about lately, like, how strange it is to exist online, which is something that I explore a lot in, like, my art as well. And I don't even know what it would be like to not have an identity online. I don't know what it would be like to not post. Like, it's so, like, ingrained into my identity now. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know. I feel like I actually really do have a healthy relationship with social media. I think it's because I never reached that point with being an influencer or a YouTuber where I was, like, super famous or had, like, hundreds of thousands of views or anything like that. And so I feel like I have less pressure to keep up. Do you know what I mean? I do YouTube because I think that it's a great way to create community, but I also, like, know that it's not forever, and I don't want to have that relationship with YouTube where I feel like I need to keep up. I think that being a YouTuber is one of the only jobs that is so attached to who you are as a person, because if people, sometimes you can take it as, like, if people don't watch my video, it's because they don't want to hang out with me. Do you know what I mean? But then I just have to realize that, like, you don't have to do this. Like, you could literally move to a little cottage and by the sea, do a regular person job. Like, you don't have to do any of this. And I think that that's relevant for anybody who's doing any sort of work. Like, you can take yourself out of that situation. Remember, like, we're here on earth for such a short period of time. I haven't reached that point with YouTube yet where I want to stop doing it. I think that it does bring me value, and I hope that you guys get value from my videos as well. So maybe, like, in a few years or something like that, or maybe I'll do it until I'm, like, 70. I don't know. Personally, I love watching older people do YouTube because I think that there needs to be more diversity on this platform. And so when I see people who are, like, in their 70s or 80s making videos, I think it's so cool. And actually, I want to give her a shout out. I'm following this really amazing YouTuber who just moved to France. Her name is Janice in France, I believe. And she's, like, a retired older woman. She's beautiful, and she has followed her dreams to France. So I think that what she's doing is really cool. I love watching her perspective. So as well, if you guys follow anybody that you would consider, like, diverse, who there's not, like, a lot of representation of on this platform, because I feel like it's just all, like, young white girls. leave them in the comments. I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually do have a podcast. Everyone's always like, you should start a podcast, but it's on my Patreon. It's a part of one of my Patreon tiers, and I release one long podcast episode per month, and I am going to do for that podcast episode a really long one about the last 6 months in review, how you can review your last 6 months, and I'm gonna go deeper into that because I actually haven't done it yet for myself. So I'm gonna do it for myself, ask like really deep specific questions that can help you review your next 6 months. But in this video I just sort of wanted to like free talk about how I'm feeling, some struggles I've been going through like professionally, as well as just like some really big lessons that I've learned this year around relationships, around how to show up for myself and be a friend to myself. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me as always. Thank you for being my friend. I also hope to see some of you guys at my art show. By the time you're watching this, the art show will be on Friday, June 30th. I'm going to be showing a video. It's sort of like the before screening of the Insta play, because I'm going to be showing it before I actually post the video on Instagram. So if you guys want to come and hang out, I'd love to see you there. As well as, I mentioned this, but I do have a Patreon if you guys want to support me on there. If you want to go to like Zoom parties, we also have like Paris meetups and things like that. I also have prints and my poetry book if you guys like poetry. So if you made it to the end, leave me a comment that says the best is yet to come. And I love you so much. I hope you have a really beautiful day. I hope that this video was interesting, inspiring, etc. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!